So this New Year's Eve, I was in Playa del Carmen, Mexico. I was out at this little beach club, and at some point I stepped outside onto the beach because I was frankly getting tired of this whole party, and that's when I started noticing a pattern. There were all these American, Canadian, European guys just standing around, nothing particularly special about them, but they were never alone. One by one, all of these Mexican girls kept approaching them and starting a conversation. And I'd seen something similar before. Years earlier, I was in Argentina at a party, and I remember talking to a Canadian guy when an Argentinian girl came in out of nowhere and essentially grabbed his hand and led him away to dance. And it wasn't just him. All the foreign guys that night were getting a lot of attention. Now, I think that Argentina isn't typically a place where women approach foreign men like that. A French friend of mine has backpacked all through Latin America, and he told me that Argentina was actually the place that he got the least amount of attention, simply because he blended right in. Now, we know that Latin America is a huge destination for foreign men. Medellin in Colombia is one of the most talked about places for that. But you see this dynamic play out in other touristic places like Playa del Carmen. There are a few reasons behind this dynamic, and I'll talk about one of the most controversial ones towards the end of that video, so stay tuned for that one. But first, I was curious to know, what happens when a Mexican woman dates a foreigner?
Hi, what's your name?
I'm Sophie. I'm from Morelia, which is a small city nearby Mexico City.
So you had an ex-boyfriend that was Swedish.
Yes.
How did you guys meet?
We met in Playa, actually. Love made me cross the world.
My name is Eva. I'm Mexican. I'm from Aguascalientes.
Are you currently in a relationship?
Yeah, I'm married with an American. It's been so difficult. I've been married 10 years and still I'm adapting, you know. And he too.
Where'd you guys meet? Did you guys meet here in Playa?
We met in Tinder in New York.
You were on vacation in New York.
Yeah.
Okay, and then you ended up moving for your partner.
He told me don't go. We got married after 6 months.
Jimena.
Colin,
Yo soy de Veracruz, México.
Veracruz, ok, muy bien.
and the Netherlands.
We met on Bumble.
Citlali,
¿Y de dónde eres?
de Chiapas.
¿Y tú te prefieres salir con un mexicano o un extranjero?
Yo prefiero salir con un extranjero,
¿Y por qué?
porque soy mexicana. Pues sería americanos. Son muy lindos, de hecho son muy lindos. Que tengo mi novia americana.
¿Te gusta?
Lindos en el sentido de que te resuelven todo. Te resuelven todo. No tienes problemas en la vida.
Lisa,
And where are you from?
I'm from Mexico City.
Have you dated any foreigners?
Oh yes, for sure. Yes, actually, yes, like 98%. I'm very into it, like German.
I knew you were going to say Germans. I knew you were going to say Germans.
More Nordic, you know, like big Vikings, you know, like bald, blue eyes.
Bald.
Yes, I love them. Bald.
Compared to, dating Mexicans, what was different about that relationship?
Everything was different. There was a huge difference. I'm very close to my family. We're very family oriented in Mexico, and people over there are very independent. So we're more used to like doing stuff together. He valued a lot his sense of independence, which I value, but it could go over to the other side of being over independent and just kind of like, it's me and then there's you.
People in general, they are less happy just being on their own. They always need to do something. There needs to be something next. It's a bit more chaos in their mind, and I think with Dutch people in general, we're much happier just being on our own. And therefore it's much easier to just be separate from each other, at least for a bit to recharge and then see each other again.
As far as he went for like a physical affection, he told me that it made him a little bit uncomfortable. So of course that naturally makes you like retreat back because you don't want to make your partner feel uncomfortable. There wasn't a lot of sense of like trying to connect with like people around him. A lot of things which would come off as rude when you're a Mexican person, you know, like when you have people over and you tell them like it's time to get going and you're like, you would never say that in Mexico, that's so rude.
Like one of the big things is how direct he is. Like he will just tell me things straight off, whereas me, the Mexican, I'm just kind of like always being secretive, dropping little hints, like maybe he'll notice, maybe he won't notice, maybe he'll say something and he'll just be like, yeah, I didn't like what you said earlier, maybe you like don't say it ever again. And I'm like, okay. But also the good thing about that is we will fix things immediately. We joke around with each other. That's like another big thing is that I can actually joke with him and he doesn't take anything personally. With a Mexican, it's like if you kind of attack their personality or make a joke out of them, they will just shut down and they'll be like mad at you for 3 days. Ego here in Mexico is very fragile. It's very, very fragile. Like, I remember at one point I was like making a little bit more money than my ex-boyfriend, and that like completely destroyed our relationship. Instead of him being like proud of me and like, wow, that's my girl, it was like he felt like totally emasculated and just completely hated me.
I think they are more focused in their goals, their lives. Latins, we are more attached to the families, you know? Where the family goes is where he goes or she goes. Oh, my mom is saying we should do this. Oh, my mom is, we should do that. They are not like taking care much about the other people saying, you know? If they want it, if they feel it, they go for it. Is what I like.
It's nice with Latinos in the fact that they're gonna be like, oh, mi amor, and that makes you feel like, ooh, with him it was just like he was in his own thing, you know, and he meant things when he said them, like at first. Okay, so maybe let's try the quiet, more like serious guy this time.
Estamos en una zona turística. Bueno, las mujeres mexicanas, en su mayoría, no todas, piensan de que pues me conviene más un hombre de que tenga un pasaporte y me pueda sacar de México, porque a veces no les gusta estar aquí en México, a veces la inseguridad o a veces los costos y servicios, dicen, no, pues me voy con un extranjero, tramito mi pasaporte y pues ya, me voy de aquí.
¿Y los hombres no hacen lo mismo con las extranjeras?
No mucho, no he visto mucho.
¿Y por qué no? Es más complicado, ¿no?
Sí, siento que los hombres no son tan, tal vez, sociables con las mujeres extranjeras, porque tal vez no tienen tanta autoestima, por así decirlo, de acercarse o algo por el estilo. Siento que tienden más fácil las mujeres a atraer a un hombre que un hombre a atraer a una mujer.
We are taught as women in this culture to be agreeable. And being agreeable equals in this society to being lovable. So just kind of going with what the man says. That's why European women, it's hard to match up with that idea with Latino men. Not all Latino men, of course, it depends on how you're raised, but most of the culture that's being accepted. So if you take a Latino man and then you put it with an European woman, like that's not gonna work. European women are not gonna like go with what you tell them to do. But Latino women with European men, it's gonna be like, yeah, you know, like whatever, which is what happened. I gave up my life. I was willing to give up like everything to just like, no, you're in love. You just want to make it happen.
What's your name?
Max.
Max. And where are you from?
I'm from Sweden and I'm half Welsh.
Do you see yourself still dating in Sweden, or do you prefer to date other cultures now?
I 100% prefer other cultures, by far. I've lost interest for the Swedish way of dating, for the low commitment and for the masculine side from the woman. I like a very feminine girl, a woman. I like to take care of them and I like them to take care of me the old-fashioned way. I think media is trying to tell people not to like them, but I think deep down, most of them actually do like them. Maybe some women feel it's, they want to be stronger, they want to have their own job, they want the man to take care of the kid, fine, but that's not for me.
What does femininity mean to you?
Femininity means that she wants to be taken care of. She needs me. She can't be completely self-sufficient. I like when they're strong. I don't want them to be needy, but I want them to be, in a way, dependent on me. I want the man should be important for them. I absolutely don't mind providing and paying. That's absolutely fine, even though that's not a very Swedish thing. I quite like that. It shows that I am taking care of her. But in return, I like the old-fashioned way of how the household will be. I would like her to nurture the kids. I would like her to, cook and clean. I actually love cooking, so I won't mind cooking. But as long as she does quite a bit of work around the house, of course she can work as well. But I just want her to act feminine. Don't want her to act like she's she's got me under her thumb. Yeah, it's actually she wears the pants. I absolutely do not want that. I'm gonna wear the pants.
He will always provide for me. Like, he will always pay for a bill. He will always pay for the rent and for utilities. I like to contribute like a little bit wherever he lets me. But honestly, he just takes care of everything, which for me is like, it's amazing.
So let's talk about the most obvious reason that Mexican women are drawn to foreign men. And it goes both ways, and that is the exotic factor. When you see something less common, blonde hair for example, it's rare and people are drawn to that novelty. It's a bit like food. I love olives. But if I buy a big jar of olives and I start eating them every day, which I have, I will eventually get tired of them, which I have. Or if you never see Japanese people in your country, for example, you see one and you gush all over this person. And then say you go to Japan and there are Japanese people everywhere and you say to yourself, meh, just another Japanese person. But it's not only about looks. There's also the personality and energy factor. People often tend to gravitate towards different energy levels than they're used to. If someone is very energetic, for example, they might be drawn to someone who is more calm and grounded, and vice versa. And yes, there's also a practical layer, opportunity. In places like Playa del Carmen, there is a higher concentration of foreign men, so naturally there's more interaction. You have a high chance of meeting that foreigner. And of course, I won't be the first one to tell you that there are big differences in income between Mexico and the US. Dating that foreigner might also lead to living in a nicer part of the city, getting to travel more, and just having a more stress-free life where you can afford a lot more things. But of course, it goes the other way too. When it comes to the type of men that come to Latin America, I've noticed a pattern, and you might have too. Even the men from more gender-equal countries like Sweden or the Netherlands often talk about wanting a different kind of dynamic when they're here. More traditional roles, more polarity in a relationship. Simply put, they come here to finally feel in their masculine element. And this is something that they struggle with back home. I've actually made a full video about it, so you can go check it out. And then there's something else underneath all this.
So it's just very imprinted in our culture and in our society. You know, we like to talk about like white people in other countries being racist, but we Mexican are very racist within each other. So there's of course like white Mexicans, you know, like light-skinned Mexicans, and there's like dark-skinned Mexicans. So there's definitely a difference in social classes as far as that goes. Women, even men, but I would see it more in women, they can use also dating a white guy or marrying up with a white guy as a trophy for the family. You know, like, oh, we're trying to, mejorar la raza, like get the bloodline, you know, better. We're gonna have someone with green eyes in the family. You're gonna get like the nationality for another country. And that gives you automatically like a superiority or a sense of superiority over other Mexicans in the community.
So there's this phrase that you might hear in Mexico, mejorar la raza. It literally translates to bettering the race. People usually say jokingly, like if your friend is dating a foreigner, you might say, hey, para mejorar la raza. But it actually comes from something deeper. Mexico has a long history where lighter skin and more European features were associated with higher status and more opportunity. And you still see the effects of that today. In Mexican telenovelas, lighter skinned actors are often cast in roles that are wealthy, powerful, and upper class.
¿Qué? ¿Es negro? ¿Mi hijo es negro? ¡Negro!
There's also the term whitexicans, referring to white Mexicans, often of Spanish descent, who typically have higher paying jobs and positions of influence. But it also ties into what Mexicans tend to refer to as malinchismo, valuing other cultures above your own.
Like if we have a foreigner that comes in, you know, he's German or he's American or whatever, he'll be treated better than Mexicans. And we're definitely projecting something, you know, I mean, and it's definitely kind of like looking up towards other cultures.
What's interesting is Carlos, the guy that I just interviewed and whose mom is actually from the US, got a lot of hate in the comments from simply mentioning that. In my experience, interviewing countless people who say they are mixed nationalities, say Brazilian Japanese or Korean American, the comments to that are usually positive or neutral. But whenever this happens in Mexico, it is followed by a lot of hate. A lot of the people interpreted it as him trying to elevate his status through association, as if saying, I'm not fully part of you, I'm above you. That's not what he meant at all, but that's how it was received, and it clearly struck a nerve.
¿Han notado diferencias culturales entre ustedes?
Al inicio sí, por ejemplo, no sabíamos cómo entendernos porque él no hablaba español y yo hablaba muy poco inglés.
¿Cómo comunicaban?
Pues él ya habla español, yo le enseñé bastante español.
Pero no puede hablar español como al nivel que tú hablas español, ¿verdad?
No, por ejemplo, yo le hablo normal y él se queda como, le tengo que hablar un poco más despacio.
The language. I speak English. Kind of.
So Mexican.
He speaks a little bit Spanish, but sometimes at the beginning when I say things, he was like, because the traduction is not the right thing. But that was like a long time ago. Now,
Do you get tired of speaking English? You know, like Sofia Vergara said, I'm so much smarter in Spanish.
oh, yeah, it's a little bit tiring, especially when I'm upset. I'm start to shout in Spanish like, ah! And I'm relaxed, it's fine. I even dream in English now.
Really?
But it's bad English, it's not good English.
So you dream in bad English.
with this accent, o sea, not with good accent.
I come to get a Latina, and I get to control, and I get a woman that serves me. Because like towards the end, I would catch him saying those comments with his friends of like, oh yeah, my girlfriend would make a smoothie for me and bring it for me to the sofa. There was a little bit of pressure towards the end on that end, you know, like he was expecting me to be like the one being emotionally like positive all the time and nurturing all the time, and once things just kind of went like a different way, different path, it would be like held against me, you know, like, oh, you're not as nurturing, you're not like cooking anymore, you're not doing these things, which I enjoy doing it, but like it's not supposed to be expected from you to do it as a partner. If you want to show it as a way of like, you know, like I love you and this is the way that I show it, but when it becomes a little bit of a demand, then yeah, like expecting me to act in this like sexy Latino way, you know, like the way like, oh, you know, it was like Sweden, it was cold and it'd be like, you know, like you don't like dress up anymore, you don't look as elegant as when we were in Mexico. And I was like, what do you mean? It's like, well, you don't wear dresses anymore. And I'm like, you know, it's like really cold outside. It's like, you know, -1 degrees outside. Like I'm not gonna wear like a dress and have like my boobs out as I would be, you know, like in Playa del Carmen. So I saw like, okay, so there's definitely some like expectation as far as he goes from like that, having a Latina almost as a trophy, like girlfriend, like, oh, like sexy icon.
He didn't want to date the women in Sweden, and so he wanted the opposite of what a woman in Sweden is.
Oh, absolutely. Later, I found out that he had actually never been in a relationship with a Swedish girl. And I mean, it was like, you're almost 40, you've never been in a serious relationship with a Swedish girl. Found out that he had always been with like international women, and there was a reason why. Because like if you go to Sweden, women are pretty like straightforward, they're very independent, they're not gonna put up with crap.
I like, you know, like big texting and having the attention, of course, and they are more like, I'm working, so it's like a space, yes, or I'm not feeling good, or I need time for me, or I'm doing this. At the beginning is like shocking, it's like, oh, maybe he's dating with someone else, you know?
We're more used in Mexico to like text throughout the day, you know, call each other. I value a lot of like having this quality time with my partner, and he really enjoyed just like being on his own. So it was a really hard situation trying to kind of you know, get to a middle point.
There was something kind of missing for you in that as well, right? Like a bit of, like, not loneliness, but you felt like...
It's funny that you mention it, because I did feel lonely when I was in that relationship, which was weird, because once I got out, it was like, now I'm single, but I don't feel as lonely as I felt when I was with this person in the relationship, because at some point it's just like, you're just not connecting in a lot of senses. So for me, it was really surprising to find out that you can actually feel lonely in a relationship.
Let's talk about the Latina stereotype. The idea that Latinas are all sexy, passionate, emotional, and fiery.
What do you look for in a person? Latina.
Now, I'm a true believer that stereotypes don't just come from thin air. They exist because people notice patterns. No, not all Russians drink, but they drink enough so that they got that stereotype. No, not all Germans are careful with money, but just enough so that they got that stingy stereotype. No, not all Finns are... Actually, yeah, all Finns hate small talk and they like sauna. Tourist-heavy places like Playa del Carmen have a very transient crowd. People coming and going, dating quickly, with less pressure to build something long-term. And many men come looking for something very specific, a Latina, the sexy, passionate kind.
Kind and Latina.
And truth be told, a lot of the women in this area really lean into that stereotype. If you go to the gym in Playa del Carmen, you see this in full display. I kid you not, girls would come in with freshly straightened hair, hoop earrings, butt implants, and then do squats for reasons unbeknown to me, and these tiny, tiny tops. It was literally me with my ugly, messy bun watching them swaying their hair back and forth and saying, girl, put your hair up, you're going to sweat right through it. But it worked. They got the attention. But was it the right kind? A lot of the men come in with this kind of Latina fantasy, the idea of what they expect you to be like. And at first, this can even work in your favor because you get attention for that image. But then when you want something more real beyond the stereotypes, there's sometimes a disconnect because they're still relating to that version that they had in their head, not necessarily who you are as a person. Here's the thing. I don't judge men for being passport bros and going abroad to find a partner. And I don't judge local women for wanting to date foreign men either. At the end of the day, most of us are drawn to something new, something different, something exciting, something unfamiliar. That's just being human. But sometimes what we fall in love with isn't the person, it's the idea. The European guy, the sexy Latina, the version we built up in our heads before we ever really got to know someone. And when the honeymoon phase fades, you start noticing everything you didn't see before. The cultural differences, the mismatched expectations, the little things that suddenly matter a lot more than they did in the beginning. And you start asking yourself, what was it that actually brought us together? In the end, I think it comes down to a simple question. Did you meet a person or did you meet an idea of them? I hope you guys meet that person and stay tuned for the next set of videos that I'll be doing on the road. Please let me know what you thought about this video, and as usual, keep breaking down your barriers. Until next time.